My name is Daniel McConkey, and this is my friend.
Hayden Bryant.
So the first time I met Hayden, we were both serving as missionaries for a church in Thailand. We had gone over there to be volunteer missionaries for about 2 years. And what you do is you learn the language, you learn how to read, learn how to write, and you're completely engulfed in the culture there. We worked together at that point, and when we came back, we both went our separate ways. I went to school at BYU in Provo, Utah. Hayden went to school at UNLV in Las Vegas. I studied business management, he studied economics. But we kept in touch and we're good friends until one day Hayden gave me a call and just said, "Hey, how's it going? What are you doing?" And I was explaining that I had been studying to be a doctor. I was excited about pre-med, but quickly found out that it was not for me and that I had decided to switch and study a little bit more about business. And Hayden said, "Well, hey, I'm studying business and I've always thought about starting a business." And I said, "Well, actually, I've thought about starting a business too." So being young and not knowing anything about it, hoping to learn a little bit about business, I said, what if we did it together? So we started brainstorming ideas, thought about experiences that we had had or products that maybe existed in Thailand that weren't as accessible here in the United States, and we landed on custom suits.
Yeah, that was about 15 years ago that we met, and then 13 years ago we had these conversations and hopped on a plane and just kind of dove in. And yeah, we were about probably 22 years old at that point. We were pretty young, we were in college, and it really was just kind of, we weren't like trying to make this our career at that point. It was just kind of like, oh, this is a college project thing. We'll like start a business and see how it goes.
Make a few bucks maybe.
Yeah, and then we got on a plane, went and stayed at a friend's house, and woke up and just hit the market down in Thailand and started asking people, hey, where do you get fabric? Where's the best fabric? And we had read online of 100% wool is the best fabric for suits, and so we were like asking everybody, where's 100% wool? Do you sell 100% wool? And they'd be like, no, down the way. And finally, we found kind of one of the main suppliers of the better fabrics in Thailand, and we went in and they kicked us out. They really just said they said, "Oh yeah, you're not a real business and you don't have any orders for us. Like, we're not going to give you any samples, and we're not going to, we're really not going to service you." And then eventually we made our way in there and got that going and got that relationship built. And we went down kind of to the tailoring side of things as well, and met with a few tailors and got a little bit of a supply chain going that way. And we kind of landed on who we felt was the best tailor in Thailand.
Yeah, so the idea was that we would take our fabric samples back to America. We'd show them to, we say, fools, family, and friends, whoever was willing to give us some money. And we really just learned as we went. People ask all the time, how did you learn all this stuff? How did you learn how to measure? How did you learn to make custom suits? Well, neither of us are tailors. We don't know how to sew. But everything we learned, at ground zero.
Luckily we were able to communicate. That was kind of the key, right? We could just speak the language. At the time we were just taking we thought we had this, at first we started pen and paper, just emailing orders to there. And then we felt like we got advanced when we made our own PDF. And we got a PDF and we had this fillable PDF form that we started sending over orders with.
Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about the original dream. Our original dream was to hire a number of sales reps and to employ them throughout the nation, where they would go, to offices, to homes, or whatever it may be, and sell custom suits. There was another custom suit company at the time that did it that way, and so we thought that was the only way it could be done. So we started doing that, and over time, it grew. We had a number of great customers that we serviced. Who did we work with back in the day?
I mean, tons of NFL athletes, ended up landing a contract to do all the suits for the Celine Dion show. We did a ton of stuff like that. It just kind of was shocking to us, and that's kind of what kept us going. we just like, man, this kind of has some legs. It seems like it's gonna work to be something. And Dan, I think, we had been, at that time, we had started finishing up college, and Dan started an internship at Boeing, and we were like, it was kind of time to commit, and we're like, okay, like this is working, let's jump in. And Dan didn't continue with Boeing, and I didn't continue what I was doing, and we jumped in on full steam.
So in the beginning stages, the operations that we had set up in Thailand were very different than they are today. How it worked is we had one little office, and we had one employee, and she would coordinate all the efforts between all of the different shops that she'd work with. So we'd have, down the street there's 10 guys that make suits in this shop, and down the street this way you'd have 10 guys that made pants in this shop. Across town there was a little factory that made shirts, so we'd send our orders over. She would receive the order, do some translation if necessary, purchase the fabric, get it to the right shop wherever it was, and then kind of collect the finished product, do a little bit of quality control, and ship it out.
I think at that time we were probably only doing 10 suits a day or something like that.
On a good day.
It was it was small, and the teams were small. I think and then at some point we kind of realized that in order to control the process and control the product and the experience and the timelines and everything like that, we kind of had to bring it all under one roof, right?
Yeah. So ultimately we decided, we've got a decision to make. I guess we can move to some big sophisticated factory, or maybe we could build them ourselves. And in our inexperience, I think we chose the build yourself option, thinking that maybe we could do it. In talking with our head tailor at the time, we learned that a lot of the skill and a lot of the tailoring traditions come from a specific region up in the northeast of Thailand. And so how it works is they all live from there, they're from there, they learn there, but they come down to Bangkok because there's a lot of tourism in Bangkok, and that's where a lot of the custom suit industry happens. So we decided.
Yeah, and then there was a problem that this kind of created also, because the culture in that part of the world is where you kind of leave your kids at home in the village with grandma and grandpa, and you go down to Bangkok, to the big city, and make money. And that's where all the tailoring tourism and everything like that was, and where all the commerce was. So that's where you had to make money. And and that created a problem for us, because we'd have periods of time where they would close up shop and go back home for the holidays for 2 or 3 weeks, and we would be stuck, like unable to get product out. And so we
couldn't blame them, because they've got to see their family, right?
Yeah.
And so we wanted them to have the breaks, but we also had customers that we need to deliver product to. So it presented a difficult problem for us.
So it kind of all worked out at once, where we're like, okay, we're going to bring this under one roof, but not only that, we're going to move all these people home to be with their families and children. And we were able to do that. And we started out in a small facility, and we put them up in apartments right across the street, and bought all new machinery. And it was kind of a new experience for them, because their living conditions down in Bangkok were pretty close quarters and shared and everything like that. And we kind of gave them their own spaces with new machines and new air-conditioned factory. And I remember one of the most rewarding times was the night we moved them in. A couple of the employees came to us kind of crying. They were just so grateful that we were able to kind of improve that condition for them.
Yeah. It's been a really rewarding process to watch the growth. So today we've got a little over 350 employees. We do everything under one roof. We make suits, we make custom shirts, we do custom skirts, overcoats, a number of different products. We bring in materials from all over the world. We've spent countless hours, both of us, sitting with experts and helping translate. And so we've kind of become experts in our own right, as we've had to translate, from a Savile Row trained tailor, explain to our head tailor, why an armhole has to curve this way. And so we've learned everything we've learned in a real hands-on way, and it's just been a blast. But it's been really fun to watch the growth and see the success.
Yeah, stuff you never thought you'd learn. Yeah, so at some point we probably about 5 years into the business, we started taking manufacturing more seriously, and that was, and when we moved and wanted to put everything under one roof, we realized we needed to have a lot more orders to make that worth it. And so we pushed heavily on the wholesale side and got going that way. So yeah, I think the cool thing now is there's all those people that originally started with us down in Bangkok, that small team that we moved up and back home. It's been really awesome and rewarding because now they're all our supervisors and our shift managers and things like that. And you know, when they kind of came out from very poor conditions, and now they show up to work in a brand new truck, and it's kind of fun to see the growth that it's provided not only to us and our families, but to all of our team.
Yeah, so today we manufacture for a number of other companies. We accept orders from about 350 different companies. We ship all over the world. And we also own and operate some of our own retail that provides a really fun and great opportunity for us to interact with the end customer on a personal level. And so we get to see our product and how it comes in and how it walks out of the store. But we've got retail operations kind of spread throughout the country in the United States, and it's cool.
You know, another thing that's important to us is, you know, we have been able to build a little bit of a team here in the U.S. as well. And we had, once it got overwhelming for us, we added, you know, Cameron and Brandon, and they've been able to help out a lot, and a few other key players. We, like I said, originally we were sending handwritten order forms and paper order forms to PDFs, and then now we have a fully integrated enterprise level software, both for the retail side of things, also for the manufacturing side of things. And even in our factory today, you know, every little detail shows up at every sewing machine on an iPad screen, and it just it shows them exactly what they need to do, whether they need a purple or a red buttonhole, and they sew it exactly to the specifications. And that's how all the detail of a custom suit kind of moves forward, is it's all outlined through the software, which Dan kind of handles.
Like we've explained, we've just had a really great time being in business together. We've had a great time impacting the lives of those who work for us and work with us. We hope to continue to grow and to expand.